Normally, I like to avoid politics on this channel ever since that, and normally I usually restrict my critiques to just one person, but this episode is going to be a little different, as you can tell by the title. Rather than targeting one person, I'm going after an entire website, and that website is none other than Gab, which is basically Twitter, but the autism is 10 times stronger. And since Gab is unfortunately relevant, I just threw my hands in the air, said fuck it, and decided to take a look at the most autistic social media website in history. Well, second most autistic following Snapchat, but you get the point. This was originally gonna be a troll video to make Disney Rant 26 at their monitor at the very thought of someone bad-mouthing their favorite website, but the more I look into it, the more it made me want to actually criticize the site. So, for once, let's take this joke of a website seriously, which is a phrase that makes me throw up a little in my mouth every time it escapes from my lips. Now, before I get into the users, I want to get into how the website presents itself on other platforms, specifically Twitter. Now, Gab gets shit on by a lot of people, specifically for their actual Nazi user base, which I will show you soon. But Gab has been critiqued a lot for not taking action over the shit they say on their website because of Gab's infamous free speech policy, where you can say whatever the fuck you want and not face any type of consequences. And when presented with these criticisms, Gab goes on Twitter and either does one of two things. One, they either try to trigger them libtards, or deflect the criticisms of other platforms since they actually can't argue and debunk any criticisms they get thrown their way, so they just deflect them off, so that way people that are criticizing them are either A, so pissed off that Gab triggered their little libtard feelings that they completely forget about their critiques, or B, get distracted that Gab passed all criticisms to other platforms so that way people could stop criticizing them and start criticizing the other platforms that Gab deflected the criticism onto. Now, these techniques seem very unprofessional for a social media website that hosts millions of users. Gab seems to take their controversies less like a business and more like someone who got called out for stealing money or drawing lolicon porn and are trying the best they can to avoid the heat. And that's only half of it. Sometimes they like to get good old brownie points by simply tweeting Bible quotes in an attempt to gain support from Christians by just claiming, yes, the Bible unfortunately exists, or giving their prayers to people in a desperate attempt to suck up if it means that they'll overthrow Facebook and Twitter and become the most popular social media website, which will never fucking happen. And that's not even the best part. You wanna know what is? Gab will constantly be hypocrites by their own fucking free speech logic by flat out telling their followers to report tweets they don't like. How the actual fuck can you call yourself advocates of free speech when you tell people to report tweets? I mean, for fuck's sake, you attack Twitter and Facebook for their lack of respect for free speech, and then you go and tell your followers to go flag tweets you don't like? Well, practice what you fucking preach, guys. It doesn't fucking matter if the person is doxing another individual. In a free speech world, either all of it is okay or none of it is okay. You can't just pick and choose what you can and what you can't say, because then it's no longer free speech. It's flat out censorship, which seems very fucking hypocritical coming from a website that are supposedly advocates of free speech. One of the most annoying things about Gab is that it's unnecessarily political. I understand that alt-writers are supremely autistic that wants everything to be serious, but for fuck's sake, my guy, not everything on the goddamn website has to be fucking political. At least Twitter, for autistic and terrible as it may be, it at least branches out to other demographics outside of politics, but for Gab, everything has to be about XD triggering the lip test for no reason than XD. For instance, if you go on the humor section in Gab, you will be greeted with autistic baby boomers and autistic teenagers saying some shit that will definitely trigger them libtards. But in all seriousness though, if you want to make fun of the far left, that's fine, go for it. But don't make that the prime basis for your website, or else that will make you look supremely autistic. And considering that Gab can't handle scoring either, makes them look even worse. That's basically all I can say about the fucking website itself. It's just autistic edgelords who make fun of people who disagree with them and can't take their own shit thrown back at them. I wanted to go more in depth on why Gab is so autistic, but I'm just gonna let their posts speak for themselves. I Also notice that Gab doesn't necessarily have any type of ads or any kind of promotion for themselves, and considering how retarded they are, it's kinda hard not to see why. So I decided to make an ad for them myself. Take a look. Hey there you! Yeah, you, the one sitting down on your fat ass watching this ad. Oh, I'm sorry, did the sudden change of attitude turn you off? Well, you better fucking get used to it because I would like to welcome you to Gab. Now, Gab is another insignificant drop in the social media ocean. But what separates us from the competition is our free speech policy, where you face absolutely no consequences for the stuff you post here, unless it inconveniences us, of course. Here at Gab, we believe everyone should have a voice. Except when they criticize us, then they need to shut the fuck up. You may have noticed that people post a lot of things that may be considered controversial and offensive, and our far right users like to criticize the left a lot. And we mean a lot. But that's okay, because freedom of speech, even though they can't take their own criticism or backlash, don't back at them. But hey, A for effort. So, loop up your asshole, grab that swastika, and be prepared to have your jaw drop at numerous hypocrisies. But if you can get past all that, why? Our site is filled with hipster teenagers and racist grandfathers. Why would you want to stay on our website? You have a much better social media experience by going to MySpace. Gab, the home of hypocrisy online. Dearest Gab board, I hope you liked what you saw, and if you wanted to discuss my ad, or if you wanted to discuss about the things I said here, be sure to email me at gayautisticfrogsareus@gmail.com. #gayautisticfrogsareus.